بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا رب الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So it's good to see you guys again. Alhamdulillah. What's the news of the week so far? Any good news? Any interesting? I had a tough week at a custom. I've been grafting all week. Grafting. Actually, I've been thinking about that. When you say grafting, it sounds like it's quite rough, isn't it? Northern grafting. I've done more like grafting, which is like the posh version of grafting. Yeah, it's not proper grafting. So I've been grafting. And I've been grafting all week in this though. And I thought to myself, I'm going to carry on wearing it for the dars as well, just to prove to myself that this is also grafting as well. Not grafting, grafting. And the kids also, mashallah, they did some grafting as well this week. Been a tough week. I need to cut my nails, they're all dirty. Did they show the nails on the video, Shaz? Did they show the nails on the video?
We can zoom in.
We can zoom in. Astaghfirullah. Shaz, what happened to my mum, by the way? Did the tooth come out? No?
Confidential. You can't just film it.
What do you mean confidential?
Discuss patient.
No, you didn't tell me, Shaz, seriously.
I'm not saying nothing.
I can't concentrate. If you don't tell me that, I can't concentrate.
No, absolutely not.
Did you take your tooth out?
I'm not saying nothing.
Alright, so anyway, I've got good news, alhamdulillah. The good news is that tonight dinner is sponsored by Jelani's, mashallah.
Again.
Oh no, sorry. My dinner. My beg pardon, please. I just want to say that mashallah Bob's has some great burgers. Although Bob's, I want to say, mashallah Bob's burger is probably one of the best gourmet burgers. Like clean burger. Not like a Kansas burger. Kansas burger is all messy and lovely and mayo and cheese and heart attack and everything. Yeah. Whereas like his one is like, all kind of posh and neat and stuff. Better meat, better quality stuff. But I want to say, Bob's, in Canada, they kill burgers, man. I just want to talk about burgers because I've dressed like a burger today. Yeah. So I thought I'd just actually talk a little bit about burgers. I went to Canada, I tried out every burger that they had in Toronto. Okay. And my favorite is without doubt Hero Burger. So I just want to let you guys know. Next time you're in Toronto, you find out Hero Burger, halal one, because there's a haram version and halal version. Okay? Don't ask me, that's just the way it goes, okay? Don't judge. Alright? Go to the halal one, ask for a Hero Burger. It is next level burgers. And so if anyone has any good burger recommendations, please put them into the portal under the tab resources. Jazakumullah khair. And I wanted to say this is obviously a week of news, isn't it? This was a week of news, and I've decided that every dars, so we have a new addition to this. I know you wanted a new jacket, but I didn't bring a jacket in this time.
Doesn't fit yet.
Doesn't fit. Oh dang! What a shot! Yeah. No need for that, Bubs. No need for that, Yara. Subhanallah. Anyway, what was I saying? That in every dars now, at the beginning, we're gonna have a what's the news session, where we have a quick review of what the news is. And so this week, of course, there was a minute silence for whatever it was, okay? And so I also believe that there should be a minute silence as well. I'd like to hold a minute silence for India. And the reason for that is because Pakistan, despite having no place to play cricket, we are way ahead of them in Test cricket. And we are the champions at the moment on the world scene in form. And I think we should hold a minute silence for India, how lame they are. And I think that we should impeccably observe this 1 minute silence of the failure of their system, bullying the Jamaicans, bullying the West Indies, bullying the rest of the world. And if there are any Indians watching, then join us, come back to your ancestral homeland, the Pak part of the southern Asian subcontinent. And there you go. Is that fighting talk? I'm so happy at Pakistan's form at the moment. We're battering New Zealand. We battered Australia. We're nearly number 2 position, I think. We're number 3 at the moment. India are like number 17 or something. Anyway, should we do some fiqh as well? Should we do some fiqh? Yes, you want some fiqh? Huh? You want to continue Pakistan and politics and cricket and... No? Okay. Burgers? No? Okay, khalas, let's do some fiqh then. Today is a nice lesson, mashallah. You know, one thing which I like about this lesson is that you'd look at the notes and you'd think, it says, the notes at the moment obviously tell you what we're going to cover today. It says that whatever comes out of the two exits, meaning the front and back, is what breaks wudu. And you must think that's the most boring session on the history of fiqh. Yet this week's lesson is lessons on virtually everything other than that point. Because this is Shaykh Al-Uthaymeen, alayhi rahmatullah. Guys, awesome. You're going to see some proper behavior today. Okay, beautiful stuff, which reminds me, I was reading it, reminds me of stuff that we were teaching in a class on adab 7-8 years ago, now being taught in the chapter of At-Tahara, because when the knowledge comes, you just grab it and you take advantage. Right, so I think the last thing that we said from the lesson last week is that, by the way, I don't even know what the text is. Shaz, read the text to me. So the text is, ablution is invalidated by, number one, anything that exits from the urethra or the anus, okay? So that's the front and the back. We'll just go from for the time being. Actually, let me just read it. Yeah. Anything that exits from the urethra or the anus. Number two, any amount of urine or feces or large amounts of filth which exits from other parts of the body. And number three, losing consciousness except for a slight amount of sleep while sitting or standing. Our focus today will be on number one and number two. So just to say that just 1 second. What we did say, I think the last thing that we said last week was that there's two types of the invalidators can be put into two categories: that which there's consensus over, and that which there's difference of opinion over. Okay, and we're now going to cover the issues of which there's no doubt, lots of Quran Sunnah clear, and that's obviously to do with feces and urine. And then we're going to start talking about where the difference of opinion is. That's going to be coming today. So the first statement is that which is anything which exits from the urethra or the anus. Actually, in Arabic, ينقض ما خرج من سبيل. Okay, so anything which goes from the sabil, and the sabil means a path. Okay, and the reason it's called it a path, right, is because obviously that's the route that they're taking. And the technical terms is the urethra, right, which is the urinary tube, yeah. And in a male, it's how's it referred? What's it called in the male? And it's just male urethra. What's the ureter? So is the ureter the same in males and females, and then the urethra in males and females as well? And you just say male, female in between both of them. So the male and female urethra is basically where the urine comes out of. All right, in the male and the female. So we're talking about the front, and then we're talking about the anus, the anal canal, which is where one defecates from at the back. These are the two passages which are considered when we're talking about fiqh. Now, what's essential, of course, is that we also talk about, these are the obvious things, but there are going to be some non-obvious things as well. So if you are approved or uncomfortable with these kind of concepts, and you...
Okay, we're back online.
Back on, yes?
1 second.
Yes, good, teachers.
It's good. It's back on now.
Yeah. You said it? Yeah. Switch it off, switch it on. You find it when people that's how to write
Yes, back on.
Right. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Yeah, so next week we're not here. And Shaz, are we not doing it at all from here? Are you going to do it from home or what?
No, we're back online now.
Yeah, are we doing it from home next week or what? Are you doing it from home next week or are you doing it from the masjid?
Full notion.
From the masjid. Okay, so just want let you know that actually anyone who does want to be here, are we back actually online broadcasting as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay, guys, so I just want to let everyone know online that we went down, but we didn't cover anything. We promise. Okay, we just paused, we chilled, we tried to talk about something else. Don't know what happened. Email, yeah. So I talking about emails and things like that and whatnot. So we apologize for that. The email went down. Nothing to do with the servers. Nothing to do with anything else. Just not the email went down. I don't even know what I'm saying. Customer, I don't even know what I'm saying. Internet went down. How did the internet go down, by the way?
I think it was the hub.
The hub, huh?
Or something. If anyone's connected to the net, can you please disconnect? Masjid.
If you are connected, please, to the Cheadle Masjid thingamajig, the Wi-Fi, please disconnect and stop being a pack and use your 3G and 4G connection, you tight pack. That's unbelievable. That's them. It would be just like packs to come on a Wednesday and leave their downloading area and connect to the Cheadle Masjid thingy and just start download. Yeah. There's no connection. If you guys need internet packages, I will sort you out. Come and see me, and I'll give you. I'll share. I'll put my thing on file sharing, 4G, no problem. Look at AE's iPhone. Type in Dosti. That's my password. Khalas. All right. Tight bunch of packs. Customer, unbelievable. Crashed the entire system. Unbelievable. Right. Is it working, Chaz?
Yeah, we're on.
Sure. You wouldn't tell from your face, Shazad, Salim. Cheer up, man. Right. Okay then, guys, we're back on. So, what did we say? We said then therefore that the sabil, meaning the path, meaning the route, meaning the whatever they call it, alright, this is referring to the back and the front, the urethra and the anus. Now, what comes out, ma kharaja, anything that exits, that is, according to the Hanbalis, when they say that, they are referring to everything that comes out, ordinary and not ordinary. Ordinary, of course, is urine and feces, okay? المعتاد كالبول والغائط والريح من الدبر. Now listen carefully. That's referring to urine from the front, feces from the back, and wind. Okay, passing wind, flatulence, passing wind from the back. These are the three normative things which come out of the two passages and they break the wudu. And that's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the verses of wudu tells that you should do it, you should make wudu. أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط. And if any one of you wants to go for basically a number 2, to defecate, this is a reason for you to go and make wudu. And the other evidence is in the hadith of Safwan ibn Asad radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he said ولكن من بول وغائط ونوم, that wudu should be made from when you urinate, when you defecate, and when you go to sleep. And we'll cover that later. And also in the hadith of Abu Hurairah, and this hadith, by the way, the ayah that I mentioned is of course Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 6, and the hadith that I just mentioned is the hadith of which hadith is that? The hadith of Safwan. The hadith of Safwan on page 241. I'm just going to give you the complete translation. Amarana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded us that if we are upon a journey or we take off our khufs, okay, then we are okay. And we are able to wipe and so on. The only time we need to make wudu is if we fall into a state of sexual impurity, or we go to the toilet for defecation or urination, or we go to sleep. And this hadith is narrated by Imam Ahmad and Nasa'i. And then the other evidence, back now to the topic at hand, on page 269, the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu and Abdullah ibn Zayd, both of them. They said, do not leave لا ينصرف حتى يسمع صوتا أو يجد ريحا. Very nice hadith which has so much fiqh behind it, which we'll cover later on. But basic translation of the hadith, that he should not leave, meaning the prayer line, until he hears a sound or smells something. Okay? And this is referring to the ruling of a person who is in prayer and waswas comes to him, okay, and then, or her, and then they feel that they have passed wind. And so that can happen. Or actually, this is not just for the prayer, this is for every scenario where you feel not sure, you think you felt something. It could be residual wetness, it could be, your underpants or whatever messed up, or whatever it could be. The point is that the Prophet ﷺ said that a person does not need to leave to go and make wudu until he hears a sound confirming the fact, or smells an unpleasant smell, which also confirms the fact. Feeling by itself means nothing. And this is a very important principle for us in our lives, because we are always thinking, did this something happen? No, whatever am I in? Not sure. No. So this deen, wallahi, is that so many, if you study the deen, so many clear indications that certainty is never removed by doubt, and doubt is everywhere all the time. And so that's why the way it should be dealt with. That frankly, that blatantly, you put yourself in a position, say, listen, and I mean this as an advice to you in everything. I mean it is in an issue of did you go to sleep or not? Did you break wudu or not? Did you pray 3 or 4 or not? I want you to know that the majority of the time the waswas is shaitan playing you, because that's how he destroys a person. So the most important thing you've got to do when you get that waswas is take control. Alright? Not panic. Because a lot of people then panic and that increases the waswas and whatever. So when the waswas comes, you say, right, I'm in a situation of doubt, but I tell you what, I'm not going to let happen. I've got some doubt, but I'm not going to let shaitan play me now. Alright? So I know very simply, okay, I'm not sure if I did 3 or 4, so I'm just going to pray 3. That's it. I'm going to assume that I've done 3, and then I'm going to do another one to make it 4. That's in prayer, for example. And in wudu, you be even more hardcore. You'll say to yourself, right, okay, did I do this, did I do that? Well, you know what? If I had, I would remember it immediately. If it was so important, if it was so obvious, I would have. And so I don't need to sit there thinking, racking my brain, etc., etc. You have to, but obviously not reckless, not just chuck things in the air and just assume nothing. You can't be just completely irresponsible. But the idea is that you will see with this hadith, it's such a frank hadith. Only if you smell an unpleasant smell or you hear a sound, doesn't matter what you feel. And that's very interesting. Yeah.
Just to clarify, so if there's no doubt, there's no sound or smell, you pass grain, you broken wudu. But if there's no swats, and you're unsure, there's sound or smell, then you.
Very good. Well done. Jazakallah khair. Zafar asked a question and he answers it himself very well as well. So that there's no doubt here, okay, what we're talking about. We've got 2 scenarios. You have a person who definitely knows they've passed wind. If they know that they passed wind, they felt that they've passed wind definitely, then it doesn't matter whether they smell anything or hear anything. Is that clear? The scenario we're talking about is when there's uncertainty. If there is any uncertainty, did I not, whatever, uncertainty gets thrown against the wall, and you look for the sound, you hear out for the sound, or the smell, and that's it. Okay, so those are the agreed upon points. There's no doubt about it. Yes.
Does the same apply when you do wudu? Let's say you think that you've washed it once instead of 3 times or whatever.
So the wudu will be different, a bit different. The only time it apply in wudu is if you're talking about where you've washed it. Okay, not the number, because once you've washed it once, then the obligatory has been obtained. So of washing it a second time and a third time is a sunnah anyway. So it doesn't matter whether you mess up the numbering, as long as you've washed it once. And if there was you're not sure whether I washed this part or not, then you can see that. So if you're watching yourself, for example, did I wash this part, and you run your hands over it, okay, and your hand's wet, what you don't need to do after you washed it is now to do like a 10-second examination inspection, look around each angle and what this, that, whatever, because I put my hand over it, my hand's wet, and in a normative scenario, that's going to wet this area. And I don't need to worry about the 1 in a million, or the 1 in 10,000, or even the 1 in 100, where my hand skipped and jumped over the, whatever, and missed the little part, and I got away with it. Yeah, so be it. It's based upon one's knowledge, upon one's norms. Different scenario if a person is very lax and whatever, he's just one of these guys. You find these people who make wudu. These people need to be very, very careful. Sticking their arms and whatever underneath sticking the foot underneath the sink, not even going near it with their hands, just playing it kind of very easy. So those are the al-mu'tad, the normative things that come out of these, the 3 things that come out of these 2 passages. What about غير al-mu'tad, the abnormal? So there are a number of abnormal things. The first and the most common is vaginal flatulence. Okay, vaginal flatulence. Basically, passing of wind from the front. Okay, meaning from the vagina for the woman. And on this issue, there is a difference of opinion between the scholars. Their ulama differed. So, for example, you have those that said that it breaks wudu. And this is the position of the Hanbali school. The Hanbali madhab, it says that vaginal flatulence breaks wudu. And the other ulama, they said that it doesn't break wudu. And Shaykh Uthaymeen, he mentions And the references are there and in Al-Insaf, and Insaf of course is a Hanbali fiqh book. Now you know that we've got no text for this. We don't have a nas from the Quran and Sunnah that says definitively that this breaks the wudu. So now we need to use ijtihad. Is there an analogy to something else? Now you can see why the Hanbalis, they are making it, they said it breaks the wudu. They've made a straightforward qiyas. They said that what comes from the back as flatulence has broken the wudu, okay? And what comes out as a waste product from the back breaks the wudu. And then we have a front part. The waste product is the urine and the flatulence is the same. Like, got like a match. Do you understand? So this is what they said. This is something which happens common. It's not as rare as people may think it is. Rare is in a man. It happens from a man. Not obviously, it's not vaginal flatulence. It's whatever it is flatulence. What do you call that? Penile flatulence? Yeah. It happens, by the way. I've got no idea. Even thinking about that, and it just is just painful. Wallah, painful that, yeah. But apparently it happens. Zafar, give us a figure.
It's not in the medical book.
It's not. What do you mean it's not in the medical books? It's in the fiqh books, brother. It's ولا أظنها تخرج من الرجال اللهم إلا نادرا جدا. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he says, and I don't think it comes out of the men, Allahumma ya Allah, except very little. That's a brilliant statement. Allahumma illa nadiran jiddan. Okay, so it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, maybe we shouldn't go into so much hypothetical points. Now, just listen. I'm just going to carry on that same argument. The argument of the people who said it doesn't break the wudu. They give some more examples. So what else could come out? Stones from the front and the back, apparently. Okay, the back is obvious. All right. So there's two types of stones. First of all, kidney stones, and the kidney stones is a very common thing. If you have kidney problems, then it will come out, and of course that comes out of the front, the vagina, it comes out through the urethra all the time. So that's something which is quite normal. But then there might be other stones. Other stones meaning something that you've swallowed, for example, and that would be defecated. Because if it comes out the front, you'd be dead, yeah? I'm telling you now, I hope that comes out the back. Otherwise, it's all over and it's all finished, okay? So, that's that. And also, Sheikh says that if a person, for example, swallowed a seed, and I think that's what he means anyway, okay? So, this is the interesting point. Do these break the wudu? Sheikh Uthaymeen here, in Al-Mumti', right here, he leaves it open-ended. He doesn't give a position. But I know that his position is that anything other than al-mu'tad, meaning the normative stuff, okay, that comes out from the front or back, for him does not break wudu. And his argument for it, we're going to see a little bit later on, but the argument is his principle is going to stay solid all the way. The wudu is a state. And once you enter into that state, you are now pure. And if you are going to break someone's state, someone's constant state, you're going to have to do it with a clear evidence from the Quran and Sunnah. Because, and this is very interesting, you enter into that state with the Quran and Sunnah. Wudu is something you enter into using a dalil shar'i. Because wudu is not normal. You don't walk around and be in wudu. You got to do things, and those things have been obligated by the Sharia in a very specific way, what we call dalil shar'i, an evidence from the Quran and Sunnah in a very specific way. You enter into that state. To break you from that state, you also need to have dalil shar'i. And in the absence of a clear dalil shar'i, a clear text, then you remain in that state. And so this is the basic argument, and he's going to continue that all the way through. So just remember that, it's going to keep on going, okay? Now, listen also, when we're talking about those things which come out from the front and the back, we can divide them into two categories. Those which are pure, those which are impure, such as feces, urine, and so on, and those which are pure. Now, pure, what would be, for example? Stone, pure. What else? Seed, yes. Use your imagination. Mud, yeah? MashaAllah. If you're a baby, yeah, maybe. That's what they do, eat mud. Or if you're Bear Grylls and you do eat mud as well. There's something which is super obvious. Something which you're not thinking of. Because mashallah, you're all Siddha Sada, nice Sharif Bande. Okay? But something you need to let your imagination let it go. Sperm. Under that, oh, dang, you went there. Okay, what's sperm? Najis or not? Sperm itself. Is sperm impure or pure? Is it najis or tahir? The majority of the scholars, of course, say it's tahir. Okay, it's tahir. It is pure, and so therefore that raises the question: does something which comes out, which is pure, does it invalidate the wudu as well, such as the impure? What are the impure things? Let's do the impure things. Feces, urine, yeah. What else? From the front and the back passages, blood could come out. Okay, is blood impure? Blood is pure or impure? There's of course difference of opinion. We're going to be coming to it in a couple of weeks' time. Blood is pure, inshallah. Okay, blood is pure. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble if we are, the Mujahideen itself. There will be no jihad, no nothing. The people out there would be a pacifist religion. This is the most practical deen on the planet. There are so many evidences actually for the purity of blood. It's a very good discussion, and it's a scholarly difference of opinion. We'll come to it. So let's not include blood for the sake of argument for now. Okay. What else? Yes, wind. I don't even know actually. Is it? I mean, I don't expect anyone to want to try and find out whether it's pure or impure, right? And you do beat your brother up when he does it like that, isn't it? Yeah, because always big brothers do it to the younger ones, isn't it? Yeah. Did that happen to you, Bobs? Yeah. No. Okay. So, but I don't know whether that's pure. I don't even know. Can you get purity in gas? I think, yeah, that makes most sense to me. It's closer to impure because it does have particles. It is not fully complete, dissolved, whatever the word is. There's still some kind of solid state in there. Is that right?
No.
It's not, is it?
I watched a YouTube video 2 days ago. No.
What are you on about? You saw a YouTube video saying that wind.
No, why do people prefer their own farts?
I'm just saying that Amjad Chowdhury, okay, I just said that, just for the record, he just said that he saw and watched a YouTube video on why people prefer their own, and he mentioned the F word. I hate that word, okay? The F word meaning for flatulence, I mean, the rough version of flatulence and wind, yeah? The one that begins with F and sounds like art, yeah? That one. He said that in that video, why do people prefer it? You didn't tell us the conclusion of this video that you were watching, mashallah. Because you just don't send it to me, no thank you. Yeah, I have a life, yani, okay. Zafar, give us the theory behind the wind. If it was frozen, what would happen? If nitrogen was applied to someone passing wind, what would happen?
I don't know. Listen, if it was solid in any way.
If it was solid in any way.
Yeah, you'd have the underpants, wouldn't you?
Wallahi, bro, we don't know, man. We don't know. I think there's a difference between, you know.
The gaseous particles, come on.
They're what particles?
Gaseous.
Gaseous particles.
Gaseous. It's the one you do that. So.
That's why in myself, I didn't say that it's impure outright. I don't like the idea of a solid concept. It doesn't sound right.
Does anything that smells bad, is it impure?
No, of course not. Does anything, as Zafar says, is anything which smell bad, is that impure? And the answer is no, of course. No. That needs to be looked into. Sprouts. Honestly, Yara, where's he gone? What are we talking about? Where are you going, Yara?
If I was to burp,
Yeah.
if I was to burp,
Okay.
that smell, is
Yeah.
that,
This is, mashallah, such a nice lesson today. Yeah. If you was to burp, yeah.
is that impure? It's come from the bowel again,
Yes.
but it's come out the other end.
And there's a smell.
Does it smell?
And that smell is a result of the bile and the X and the Y.
whatever it might be.
in a gaseous form.
Yeah.
It's not gaseous, it's vapor, isn't it? It's vapor.
Still in.
It's vapor. It's vapor. You know why it's vapor? It's not gas. It's vapor because it has a taste. You can taste it in your mouth if you burp. Can you taste the gas?
Only when it dissolves.
It's interesting. Wallah, I don't know. I mean, he did not include it. Okay, Sheikh here, he did not include it as the he didn't include it. But what he did include, okay, is prostatic fluid, okay, and that's something that we're going to be looking at. Al-wadi and al-madi and al-mani. Mani is pure. These are the three types of fluid which are emitted in men and women before sexual activity and so on. So, or wet dreams, etc. And so the two of them are impure. The sperm is pure. We'll be covering that in detail. Don't worry about that. So the point here is that there are more than just one thing. Okay, we know that there's more than just one thing in the issue of what comes out. There is a consensus of the scholars on the three and the difference of opinion upon the others. The class position is that the others do not, because they do not have a clear evidence from the Quran and Sunnah. So therefore, if a kidney stone came through your urethra, it would not break your wudu. And if there was vaginal flatulence, as women have quite regularly, it does not break wudu because why? Because of the lack of an evidence. The next point then is, what's the Shaz, show me the thingy. It says any amount of urine or feces or large amounts of filth which exits from other parts of the body. Okay, now what's this part? This is of course a fiqh text which was written a long time ago, but it's predicting and talking about anyone? Stomas, correct. Stoma and ostomies. Okay, and it is referring to vomiting as well. We're going to talk about that as well. So I just want to make it clear: an ostomy and a stoma. All right, for those who don't know. So for example, you've got some kind of problem. Or you might have cancer, or what was actually the main reason for a thing? Cancer cancer. So for example, cancer, and your urethra is gone, for example, just gone, or your anal canal is gone. And so we now need to, obviously, to keep you alive, to get the waste product out. And so we need to create basically a false exit. And so therefore we'll make a hole in the body, all right? And we will try to directly connect to the large intestine or the small intestine. And then we will then make that the exit, and basically you will defecate and you will urinate out of this opening. All right. Now, obviously, this is a very well advanced area of medicine today, and social care and primary health care and whatever has a great, massive, huge industry about products that are keeping the area clean, collecting the feces, collecting the urine. And there are many, many people. There are people in this masjid, for example, that have ostomy bags. And it's a big fitna, it's a big trial, but of course used with the right mindset, positive mindset. This is a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is a trial. If you remember last time we talked about the issue of going to the toilet, and we did the fiqh of istinja and so on and so forth, and we reminded ourselves that, you know, this is something that evokes smiles and there's a distaste to it, in studying it in too much detail, but also a reflective point of what a mercy is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us actually to go to the toilet. And you won't know that until you are unable to go. And there are times, for example, when you just have temporary illness, such as a urinary blockage for some reason, because you're taking some kind of medication, for example, or you got constipation, and you know just how much pain it can be to, then you appreciate. Now, if you go to the ostomy, then you'll make tawbah, It's like it's a real trial, all right? So the ostomy, depending upon where it is, might be an ileostomy, or a colostomy, which is in the colon, and so on. And the ostomy, the word ostomy, that refers to the hole on the external surface. It's basically the exit. And the stoma, the word stoma, or even though they're used interchangeably, he has a stoma, my uncle has a stoma, my uncle has an ostomy, or whatever. The word stoma actually refers to basically the cutoff. Is it the cutoff point of the actual organ where it's coming from? So whether that's the anal canal or whether that's the urethra itself. So that's the internal part almost. And then the ostomy is the external part. And bags will be connected and so on. So this happened back then and it happens now. So the question that's being asked is that when a person has one of these on and now you defecate through it, are you defecating because you're not going through the back passage and the front passage? Or are you not? You understand now the issue? That's the question at hand. Okay then, so the majority of the scholars, of course, and there's very little doubt about this, is that if feces or urine comes out from any part of the body, small or large amount, tiny or whatever, wherever it comes out from the body, for whatever reason, if it's feces and it's urine, it breaks the wudu. Because the issue is the coming out of the actual najasa, which is the thing which is breaking the wudu. This is the position of the majority of the scholars. There are some of the ulama, وقال بعض أهل العلم, Shaykh Uthaymeen says, that if the exit point, the ostomy, is above the stomach, then it doesn't break the wudu. And if it is below or including the stomach, then it does break the wudu. You might think, what's the practical point of that? Well, I'd like to maybe ask doctors if there is an ostomy higher. Is it by nature the ostomy has to be connected to the intestine, right? So there's no point, right? So the reason they're making, so you might say, well, what's the point of differentiating? If the only ostomy is stomach related, why are they making the point? They're making the point to cover for vomiting. So they're basically saying we divide the body into two parts. Everything which is below stomach and below stomach, this is now waste product based, and therefore it is going to be treated as like coming out from the front and back, and it breaks the wudu. Anything which is above the stomach, then they don't break the wudu. Now this needs to be discussed because it's now talking about vomiting, and there are a number of scholars that consider that vomit, okay, breaks the wudu. And when you look at vomit can be classified into a number of things, but it's also a waste product. Okay, it's not like, well, you see, the problem is, of course, is that when you vomit, it's waste product to you, it's waste product to the layman. When you look at it, it stinks and it's horrible or whatever. But actually, there's a lot of goodness left in there that the body still needs to take away. Am I right?
So it's not waste, is it?
It's not technical waste. The body hasn't finished with it, has it? It's still going to take a lot more fluid from it. Still going to take a lot more glucose, XYZ, whatever from it. And then when it goes further down the intestine, then it's going to become waste, isn't it? So as it catches, when you vomit, it is not actual technical waste. Is it a ziyada? Is it something extra and above and beyond what you would need at that time? Well, technically it could be, because when it comes out, it doesn't cause any kind of problem, doesn't cause any kind of deficiency. So anyway, let's have a look at what Sheikh says. He says that this statement, this position of the scholars that says that everything above the stomach, it does not break the wudu, okay? This is the position, Shaykh Uthaymeen says, the position of Ibn Aqil. Ibn Aqil is a name that you will have heard before and you will hear again many times. Ibn Aqil, alayhi rahmatullah, he passed away in the year 513 Hijri. He's one of the major scholars of the Hanbali madhab, okay? One of the big imams, one of the sources, one of the references that you go back to. This man is Ajib, by the way. He's Iraqi, he's Baghdadi, and he was the teacher of Ibn al-Jawzi. Okay, not Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, but Ibn al-Jawzi, Abu Fajr Ibn al-Jawzi. Okay, he's the Hanbali scholar and the Hadith scholar. So he's a great scholar, and he wrote a book. You know, want to say something? Yeah. They used to say about him that he was like really time conscious. He wouldn't waste any time on anything. The stories that you read about, I remember reading about him when it comes to eating. When it comes to eating, he would choose food specifically that would have less kind of things that would require around it. For example, he would avoid messy foods because you'd have to wash your fingers more. He would avoid dry foods because you'd have to keep sipping water in between. So he would choose food that is eaten very, very quickly because of time. And you know where that time went. He produced a book he has a book called Al-Funun. Al-Funun. Funun basically translates into, I don't know, the arts, yeah. The sciences, the arts, like the subjects, yeah. The arts, I like the arts, yeah, the arts. So basically writing about everything. And he did write about everything. 800 volumes. 800 volumes. Can you believe that? 800 volumes. And you know Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, the student of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he said, I myself seen 400 of them. Ibn Rajab said, years later, I've seen 400 of these 800 volumes. Don't know where the rest are. And just here and there, I don't know, I mean, and you'll often hear him quoted. He's an authority in the madhab. So in the madhab, there is this position. In the Hanbali madhab, there's this position that above, no problem, doesn't break wudu, below, it does. Okay, and Shaykh Uthaymeen himself is happy with this. He goes, وَهَذَا قَوْلٌ جَيِّدٌ. He goes, I like this position. Okay, he goes, the reason I like this position is that if a person, he is sick, okay, then according to the majority of the scholars, we don't consider him to have broken wudu anyway. So we know that from the basic opinion from the scholars. And he goes, this is the strongest opinion. It is. This is the position of Imam Abu Hanifa, alayhi rahmatullah. It's the position of Imam Shafi'i. And this is the position of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal as well. So the three Imams out of the four, that's their position. That a person who vomits does not break wudu. Imam Malik famously, person who does wudu, who vomits, has to make his wudu again. But according to the majority of scholars, no, you don't. Alright. But the Hanbali madhab has a little position on vomiting. They said if the vomiting is a huge amount, large amount, then it does break the wudu. We're going to come back to this point in a minute. So small amounts are not, and large amounts are. Now you're going to obviously ask what's small, what's large. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, right. Obviously, Shaykh Uthaymeen, he makes a point here. He goes, what is exempted from this discussion is that which is continuous, i.e. incontinence. So we are talking about normative movements. We are talking about I need to go to the toilet and now it will come out via this. I'm in control. So I don't want you to think just because you have an ostomy, is that true? Are you in complete control of your ostomy?
No.
Not always. So it can be that. Meaning that it's not something which happens all the time.
If you have an ileostomy, you'll have a continuous.
Right.
If you have a colostomy, you have some control.
You have some control. Good. So there we go. We know therefore there are certain times that you will have control. If you have control, then it's just like going to the toilet. That's fine. If you have incontinence and it is happening all the time and is coming out whatever and you're out, you don't have control, then this has a complete different rule altogether. I've written a detailed article about this. You can find that on Google and you just type in incontinence Abu Isa. I need to find a different way of explaining that. The amount of people that I've said that to, yeah, and then I think to myself, I either say Abu Isa incontinence, and then I think, okay, I better give a different one in the title. The problem is that the other one is
Abu Isa.
it is the other one is what? Abu Isa incontinent or incontinent Abu Isa. The other one is vaginal bleeding, yeah, Abu Isa, which is also not a very nice title. And the other one I think is irregular vaginal bleeding, meaning that I'm not getting any love from any of the titles. So I just stick with incontinent Abu Isa, khalas. You know what I mean? My ego is shattered, brother. I don't have ego problems. That's the difference, you see? Abu Isa incontinent, no problem. You'll find it there. Alright. So we'll talk about that. And we're going to cover that later on anyway in the fiqh book. But the point here is that if you are incontinent, then you do not break wudu. Incontinence does not break wudu, and that is my position. And I'm glad to see Shaykh Uthaymeen support that, although he's supporting it in a different way. But let me just make that clear. You will have to make wudu in a different manner, but we're talking about the concept of technically, does being incontinent break wudu? Answer is no. Anyway, listen carefully. Shaykh says that the text, okay, the text here, how do we get rid of that thing, Shaz? Man, it's blocking my thingy. You can't. Anything, we have to guess now. Can you see that? Are you seeing the box?
No, you can't. It's up there. It's on the thing.
Can you see the box?
Yeah. No.
Oh, me, yeah, alright. Any amount of urine or feces. He only said urine or feces. So the question is, what if, okay, what if you follow this position clearly, then it means that if wind came from the ostomy, then what? It won't break wudu. It will not break wudu. If we stick to the apparent meaning of what he said. Okay? Even if it has a bad smell. This is the interesting point. He goes, وَلَوْ كَانَتْ ذَاتْ رَائِحَةٌ كَرِيحَةٌ. Even if it has a bad smell, then it will not break the wudu, and that's the position of the Hanbali madhab. Hanbali madhab position is that wind that comes from an ostomy does not break the wudu. Other scholars, they said that it does break the wudu. Okay, and the reason they said is because that a simple qiyas, simple analogy, that the opening is the same as the opening below. So the opening of the stomach or the ostomy is to be treated like the back passage. So anything that comes through it, then it breaks the wudu. Okay, and the reality, of course, okay, is that we require more evidence than that. I'll tell you where it becomes interesting. Here's where it becomes interesting. He goes, Sheikh says, okay, that those people who said that they're the same, yes, even they themselves said that there's a difference. Can anyone think of a difference? In terms of, so you remember, yeah, we studied in year 2, right? That when you want to make when you want to make an analogy, to make a legal analogy, you got to make sure that there's some parameters that are there. That they got to share the same reason, they got to share the same characteristics, the illah, the fara', the hukam, everything. You need to go back and revise, obviously, these points. But you need to compare these points, and if they're there, if you can match them exactly, then we can go ahead and make the analogous fatwa. So the question is, if this person says that no, wind through the ostomy breaks wudu because the ostomy is like the back passage, yes, to challenge that, we need to say no, it's not, because, so who can challenge it? The feces comes through it, okay, so that's the same. The urine comes through it, that's the same. The wind comes through it, that's the same. Are there any other issues that are related to the back passage Islamically that we can attest? What? Gosh, that's a bit extreme. Okay, we'll leave that one.
Well,
Forget what he said because you don't want to hear what he said. Anyway, go on.
the back passage,
Yep.
it's a sphincter, it's a muscle, so if you were going to pass wind, you can almost stop it, but you couldn't do it in this situation.
Is that true? True? Impossible? Impossible to control wind, huh? No, sorry. Possible to control wind, I mean.
Some people can. Some people
To control. So there you go, that's the same. Allah Alam about that, whether they can, but I mean, that's what it seems. The answer is in touching it. So there's, of course, we know that in terms of touching your front and back passage, okay, there's a big discussion on whether it's a break wudu or not, yes? And we talked about that briefly, and it will come later as well. Okay, whether one is wearing a glove, a barrier, or whether touching it with bare skin, whether it's the front of the hand, the back of the hand, these are issues that are going to now become clear. And the main thing, of course, whether there's desire or no desire. And you're going to see in our talk position, when we get to it, that the touching of these private parts without desire is something which does not break wudu. But that's by the side. What we need to ask is that if we were to assume that it does break wudu, follow that opinion, then if you were to touch your ostomy, would that break wudu? A clean ostomy I'm talking about, not a dirty one. We're not talking about touching najasa. By the way, just so that we're clear, if you touch najasa, does it break your wudu or not? No, it doesn't. We talked about that for a long time, yeah? Touching najasa itself does not necessarily break your wudu. You've got to clean your hands, obviously, but it doesn't break your wudu. It doesn't ruin your ritual state of ablution, all right? So, yeah.
Touching the data,
Touching a?
the data,
Yeah. No, we're not going to cover that now. We're not going to cover that now. Yeah. This is the same mas'ala. Correct, but we're not gonna come to it now. But as we said, touching without desire is something which does not break wudu. That's our position of Imam Abu Hanifa, of course. But we'll come to that later. There's lots of details. So I want you to know that Sheikh Uthaymeen, he is leaning towards that the wind that comes out of an ostomy does not break wudu. Wind that comes out of an ostomy does not break wudu. And I'm very happy to support that position. Okay, very happy to support that position. The next statement, or anything, what is it? Or large amounts of filth which exits from other parts of the body. Large amounts of filth which exits from other parts of the body. So, what we're talking about? We're talking about, so that means that by, what's the mafhum al-mukhalafa? What does that mean? By that basically means that feces does not need to be large. Yes, if you look at it backwards. Yeah. And
exit from any other part of the body.
exit from any other part of the body, and does not need to be large. I mean, this is it's just a reading it a different way. Anyway, so what we're talking about now? We're talking about now anything else that comes from the body, all right, which is najis and which is large amounts. Let's now try and understand what that means. Large amount means what? Large, when we hear a concept in Sharia and we have no evidence to show what that quantity is, then we have a principle, as Sheikh has said in his translation, he's put a poem in, وَكُلُّ مَا أَتَى وَلَمْ يُحَدَّدْ بِالشَّرْعِ كَالْحِرْزِ فَبِالْعُرْفِ احْتَدْ. Meaning, everything which one is, anything which presents itself and has not been specified in the Sharia, such as the hirs. Hirs is like ta'wil, ta'wiz, yep, and the Quran and so on, okay, and the manner of the way the Quran is carried. It's like a pouch that carries things, all right. This is an example in fiqh, okay. فَبِالْعُرْفِ يُحْتَدْ, يعني it is therefore by the urf of the people that specifies it. So what's the basic summary of the poem, of the line? That anything which the Sharia does not specify, the custom of the people specifies. The custom of the people, urf. And urf, of course, our customs, our traditions, is very powerful in Sharia. In the absence of Sharia, it becomes the law. It becomes the law. Now, it's very important to say that that's not the individual person, it's the people. It's a general societal norm. That's the kind of phrase you should understand it. The general societal norm. So when we say kathir, okay, we mean kathir according to the people. Not extreme in that group of people. It's a control group of normal people. So for example, blood, okay? When we talk about blood, if we assume that blood is najis, and we will for the sake of argument, okay? For the sake of argument, blood is najis. What will break wudu? A large amount. A large amount. Now, if we say, right, sir, can you tell us what a large amount is? And sir is a surgeon, okay, who's used to seeing the whole himself and the whole theatre caked in blood. You look at this guy and who's had his arm chopped off, thinking, that's all right, yeah, I've got, I think we can do something there, yeah, bit of dab, this, that, whatever. You're not going to ask him. And if you go, all right, madam, have a look at this, okay. Obviously, don't want to play to any sexist stereotype or anything like that. Yeah, but she goes, whatever, yeah. And we're talking like, a little pimple, yeah, that's just been thingy. There's a little bit of blood come out and she faints. We're not going to use her either, are we? Because that would be crazy. You don't use the extremes. You're using a normal person, normal guy, normal kind of woman, just looks at a scenario and says, right, you know what, we can get that cleaned up. That's not a major issue. Hold it under the tap. It's not whatever. And there's a point. Everyone knows it. There's a point where you see that much blood and you think, you know what? I think we're better just go to A&E, and they might need a couple of stitches. They might need this, might need that. It's a normative scenario. If you're going to say to me, people are going to differ, I say, I know people are going to differ, which is why you take a general average of what people, and people generally are reliable like that. People will generally agree that something's doable, something's okay, and something's not okay. And so that's what we're talking about when we say kathir, a large amount, and that also means something small as well. That also means when we say small, when we're talking small, we mean small according to the people. Whenever we use this phrase according to the people, it's the generality of the people. All right. So, so what does he say? Okay, and he says that it needs to be najis other than those two items, other than those two substances, i.e. urine and feces. So any najis other than that. So what is what we're talking about then? We're talking about every other thing which is najis. Therefore, everything which is pure that comes from the body is no problem. Such as sweat. Sweat is pure. That was a great answer last week, though. Someone said that what about sweat that has urine, nitrogen or urea in it, whatever. Which was good fiqh, to be honest. But ulta fiqh, yani. Upside down fiqh. So that's no problem. Sweating is no problem. What else isn't a problem? Spits, for example. Someone's spitting for the country. Yeah, right? That's going to be no problem. Someone's on one of those, I don't know, he's on a mission. Yeah, to just spit all the way. And tears. which is, you know, tears.
Snot.
Snot the same. Yeah, thank you for just bringing that does right back down to where it should be. Jazakumullah khair. We love that, I said we always miss you, mashallah. Yeah. So the tears, okay, that's another example. So these, in whatever quantity, does not break the wudu at all. Okay. So what then are we then looking at? Okay. Well, according to a number of the scholars, this will include therefore blood, vomit, pus, and what's the technical phrase for your white blood cell fluid other than pus when it's very watery? Serum. Yeah. So something like that. All right. There are a number of ulama that consider these 4 or 5 products to be impure, najas, and therefore these themselves, when they come out, they take that ruling. If they come out in a large amount, this is the Hanbali position, large amount and impure, it breaks the wudu. Okay?
What was it again?
Blood,
Yeah.
pus, vomit,
So let's say you've got an ear infection. Sometimes you get discharge from the ears.
yep. And that discharge is pus, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's large amounts, remember, large amounts, not small amounts. And when you say what's large, what's small, back down to the urf of the people. And so small amount, insignificant amount is something which is not whatever, and something which the people say, gosh, that's a lot, then that's the thing. Shaz, what's happening to the computer? You okay there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, okay. Should we call that now? Should we call that? على حسب الخلاف السابق أنه ينقض الوضوء وإن كان قليلا لا ينقض. If you want to know why they say that, okay, I'll just mention the quick evidence is why the people, they say that everything that comes out breaks wudu, okay, such as vomit and blood and this and that. Because firstly, in the hadith number 1, the Prophet ﷺ, he vomited and he broke his fast and he made wudu. Okay, he vomited, he broke his fast and he made wudu. And this hadith is narrated by Imam Abu Dawood in the chapter of Sawm, hadith 2381, narrated by Imam At-Tirmidhi as well, and Imam An-Nasa'i as well, and Ibn Khuzaymah, and Ibn Hibban. Ibn Mandah, he said that this hadith is this hadith has a continuous, authentic chain. Continuous, authentic chain. It's a statement of an alim. He didn't say the hadith itself is authentic. He's not wanting to put a stamp on the hadith. Remember again, hadith is 2 parts, the chain and the text itself. Sometimes when they're not sure about what the text is trying to say, they'll just look at the sanad and just deal with the sanad and say, we'll leave that text for the fuqaha to deal with. But the chain itself is, we're good with that. Ibn Hajar, he also, subhanallah, this is the fiqh, okay? Ibn Hajar said, hadith qawiyul isnad. He goes, this is a narration that has a strong chain. You can see straight away when a person is moving away from the text and he wants to kind of distance himself from putting himself in a responsible position, having to deal with the text. Happy to deal with the chain because that's easy. I can see the people, make the connections. Yeah, I'm happy with that. But again, going further and trying to explain the hadith, that's hard work. So he goes, that's hadith qawi al-isnad. Then later on in a different place, he said, this is an authentic hadith. And so therefore he's thrown his hat in the ring and he said that this hadith is to be acted upon. And the second reason, the second evidence that they use, all right, the second evidence that they use is that these are extras from the body. They are al-fadalat, meaning that they are extra. What's excess products, and that's why it came out. And the shabah, the analogy is to be made with waste products. So excess products are being analogized to waste products, which is why they consider that the one who's sick is like someone who's defecating or urinating, according to their position, and therefore it takes the ruling that it comes out and
It has to be large amounts.
But exactly, that's why I was just making sure. Sheikh Uthaymeen says, although we've got to say that at the same time, the analogy is like a incomplete one. They're making the analogy that it's like urine and feces, but they're saying that a small amount of vomit is not going to break the wudu, which is not a complete term. That's not a complete analogy. They're saying only a large amount. So you can see where Sheikh Uthaymeen himself is moving to. He's moving to the position which is the opposite, that said that it doesn't. And this is the class position. And this is the position of a Shafi'i. This is the position of Imam al-Shafi'i. And this is the position of al-Fuqaha al-Sab'a. Al-Fuqaha al-Sab'a. You know, subhanAllah, who knows who the seven Fuqaha are? I've always called this the Magnificent Seven. Okay, the Magnificent Seven. This is what I was telling you about, which I taught 7-8 years ago. We taught this 7-8 years ago. You know, if you can get, alhamdulillah, someone by the generosity has given us some. Anyone gets any names, they get prizes. Points wins prizes. No, answers wins prizes. So, okay, I'll tell you what. To start everyone off, online, if you get it right and you see me over the next couple of weeks or months, come up to me and say I got it right, I'll give you something, no problem. Okay? Right. Let me just do my own little bit of shut up, man. Don't judge. Don't judge. Do not judge me. That's my new rule now. I don't want anyone to judge me in anything. Alright. Okay then. Who can tell me even a little bit about Al-Fuqaha al-Sab'a? What is the seven, the Magnificent Seven? Can you believe that we have that phrase, Magnificent Seven? Isn't that amazing? And you know the ajib thing is, of course, is that our seven, right? They're real people, real heroes. And wallahi, when you look at the life around us and the kind of the don't want to just keep saying Western, blame everyone on Muslim West, but the kind of type of world that we live in, they have to create these kind of, fake bakwas, and people that were very romantic or very kind of dashing or some nonsense, some bakwas, yeah? Whereas our seven were true champions, true heroes. Like, subhanAllah, like that boy, the Syrian boy. Who's not seen the Syrian boy who saved his sister? Put your hand up if you've not seen it. My God, you guys are missing out. Okay, I'm going to show you right now afterwards, alright? I'm going to show you something, wallahi, that the movie people, they couldn't make up themselves. The movies make up these kind of heroes, isn't it? They sit there, they pay screenwriters and whatnot to sit there and come up with a great trailer or a great storyline, and and we watch it and it's like, oh my God, amazing. And subhanAllah, we have hundreds upon thousands of real life heroes that are doing it every day. No need for Hollywood, no need for no clever kind of slogans or lines. Real heroes. That kid, he just cussed him. Allah, he cussed me. What he did, wallah, boggles the mind. Boggles the mind. Go into that fire, pretend that he's been shot, go down. Love the way he went down. He went down proper, and then subhanAllah, wait a couple of seconds, let the fire stop, then go and grab his sister, and off you go. Whoa, what are you watching it up? So Al-Fuqaha al-Sab'a is also a real life Magnificent Seven. Was Magnificent Seven a film of the Yul Brynner? Okay. So it's a gunslinging Magnificent Seven. Going around, okay, that's old school. Huh? No. Who can tell me anything about them? Let's close the lesson on this.
Online, Solange is doing the whole thing.
Solange is killing it, yeah? Solange, slow down, Solange, man. Just
copy and pasting.
Copy and pasting, yeah? Solange, you're disqualified. When we see Solange is coming at something, I know, okay? And now you have to give us chocolate. You're disqualified. What's copying and pasting? Where's the fiqh? Where's the ilm? Where's the thingy, huh? So anyone gonna tell us anything about Fuqaha Sab'a? I'll give more than, I'm just holding this up as a namuzaj, as an example. I'll give more, don't worry. This time I'm not going to give out these sweets. Because last week I was generous, it was opening party, I gave out to everyone. I don't know why I have to do it this time. This is my, what? This is my haqqi halal, man. Shut up, yara. Okay. Not that generous. Two times in a row sharing. So anyone going to tell me anything about these seven fuqaha, other than people who are online and copy and pasting? No?
Well, based in Medina.
They were very good. Well done. Nice. Good.
They work for Ahmad Aziz.
Nope. But it was good.
So there.
Good. A good guess. They are all Medinan, yes.
They know how to speak good Arabic.
They knew how to speak fluent Arabic, yeah?
That's right.
Right. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Fuqaha, yani. Huh? It's not, we're not, that's like saying, yeah, the day has 24 hours in it. And what? It's just a fact, isn't it? Anyone? I'm going to tell you a little poem, yeah, so that you don't make sure you do not forget it. Alright? Anyway, the key is, anyway, this is a nice poem. إذا قيل من في العلم سبعة أبحر روايتهم ليست عن العلم خارجه فقل هم عبيد الله عروة قاسم سعيد أبو بكر سليمان خارجة. This is a poem, it's a famous couplet basically. If it is said إذا قيل من في العلم سبعة أبحر, if it is said to you, who are the seven if it is said in knowledge, who are the seven oceans, that their narrations on anything never go out of the knowledge. Yani, whatever they say is Islam, basically. Anything and everything that they say, it's Islam, it's the haqq, okay? Then say to them, they are Ubaidullah, Urwa, Qasim, Sa'id, Abu Bakr, Sulaiman, and Kharija. Okay? So I just want, so for your own benefit, okay, write these names down. These are names, wallahi, you should know. Okay? These are all tabi'een. First of all, they are all tabi'een. What is tabi'i? Tabi'i is someone who met and sat with the companions. They died upon Islam. They have high status. And these are people that the Prophet ﷺ told us are the best of people. So they need to be followed. Okay? And they are the precursors of the Maliki madhab. Actually, all of the madhahib, all right? But the Maliki madhab, they really took a lot from these seven. And like Imam Zuhri and Rabi'a, they studied underneath them. These seven, they took all of their knowledge from people like Sayyidina Umar, like Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud, from Abdullah ibn Umar, from the major companions. They are the top scholars that we have in our religion. Okay? So the first one is Ubaidullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah. Okay? Ibn Mas'ud. So his name is Ubaidullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud, alayhi rahmatullah. And Urwa, everyone should know. Urwa ibn Zubair ibn al-Awwam. He is the son of the great companion Zubair ibn al-Awwam, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He passed away in 94 Hijri. These are all passing away in 90, 95, 100, 105 Hijri. All seven, they were living at the same time and they passed away roughly in that time.
They are the sons of the Sahaba.
Some are sons, yes, some are sons. Okay, so Urwa is, for example. And Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Excellent. Qasim is the grandson of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the nephew of Aisha. So that's the third one. Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. The fourth is most famous of them in the terms of scholarship, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. Very good. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, the Imam of Tabi'een, 93 Hijri he passed away, for your own information. The fifth, is Abu Bakr ibn Abdul Rahman ibn al-Harith. Abu Bakr ibn Abdul Rahman ibn al-Harith. And then the sixth is Sulaiman ibn Yasar. Sulaiman ibn Yasar. That's the sixth, Sulaiman ibn Yasar. And number 7, the final one, is Kharija, the son of anyone. If anyone gets this, I'll give them 20 sweets. Yes, a blag, you're reading it off the thingy. Right? Right. Anyone who didn't hear Amjad, Kharija, who's the 7th, is the son of? No, the son of? He's the son of Zayd ibn Thabit, the scribe of the Prophet ﷺ. So we're talking major big players, yeah? Anyway, we can close on that because we've overgone our lesson. We had a big break in the middle. Don't hate, yani, you know, we didn't really. So anyway, alhamdulillah. So I just want to say that the 7 fuqaha of Sab'a, the fuqaha Sab'a, and of course Shafi'i, a number of other scholars, they said no, this does not break the wudu. But we'll discuss that next week properly in detail. But I did want to tell you that. Any immediate questions, guys? Anything? Yes, Yusuf.
Just in regards to the customs, say for example, travelling has been kind of defined in certain miles and objectified accordingly. Has anything else, like for example, the amount of blood, the amount of vomit,
So many.
identified?
Yusuf is asking this idea of going back to custom. What does it apply in? It must be applying in more than just blood and stuff. Answer is so many things actually. Too big a question. Dress. Halal and haram according to the people. Amount uncovered, for example, in salah. Little amount uncovered, large amount uncovered. Distances, as you mentioned, in travel. Measurements that you measure. Zakah measurements. Sadaqah measurements, for example. Weight, quantity. Amount of water, for example, to make wudu from. Like in year one. Actually, so many things. So many things. There are some rules. It's a very, very detailed area of fiqh. Yeah.
You said before that the passage in the lap of stone was okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the passage of anything from urethra or anus is almost going to be covered by feces, urine.
If that's the case, then done. The question is basically, if a stone was to go through, for example, the anus, then it would almost definitely be covered in feces. And so, as we said, what did we say? What's the ruling? Any amount of feces that comes from the back passage, okay, it is naqad al-wudu. It is invalidating the wudu, okay? And some people have, you see, this is the problem. This is the problem when you copy paste. You see, some people have been copying pasting, and they've got some. They've got, for example, Abu Salama ibn Abdurrahman ibn Auf, and we also have Salim ibn Abdullah ibn Umar. Salim is the son of Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab, who was one of the major ulama, and some people did make him as one of the 7 of the fuqaha, and they took out. Who did they take out? They take out. No. Yes, correct. They take out Qasim. Correct. They take out. They swap Qasim for Salim. So there are some differences amongst the scholars, but the 7 which are agreed upon by the majority of the scholars are the 7 that we said: Ubaydillah, Qasim, Sa'id, Kharija, Urwa ibn Zubair, and who do we miss? I said Kharija, Sulaiman ibn Yasar. Okay, Sulaiman ibn Yasar. So those are the main. Those are the main. Right. What else? As I said, don't get too caught up by the whole blood issue. We're going to talk about blood in detail later. Okay, I've given you different opinions on that issue of what's going on. Anyway, you know what it is? People are now giving you too much thingy. So, khalas. We'll ask these questions online. I will myself personally. If there's anything else, then we'll cover that later. No problem. Jazakumullahu khaira. Anything urgent? Anything important? Edmonton, people in Edmonton, Alberta. I'll see you guys next week. Lesson will be there, locally transmitted, and that's about it. Jazakumullahu khair. We apologize for Shazad stepping on the wrong cable. Shazad, you rang us on the wrong cable. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك اللهم واتوب اليك والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله